Hello, guys. Hi. Welcome to our next webinar where we have some French on our table. Roman Rebour, it's an honor to have you here in our growth webinars. We'll talk a lot about the French culture and how is to expand your business in France. Welcome.
Thank you, Romeo. Thank you for letting me participate to this webinar. Very glad to be
An
here.
honor. I don't need. It's an honor. Guys, before we get started, we will just wait for everybody to join. And just few words. My name is Romeo. I manage Man Digital. I have also Alina, who is our colleague back in Romania. She will help me a lot with your questions and then following up. So making sure that you have all the content that we will talk about today. So just few things before we get started. If you look into this Click Meeting software, you will see that you can chat with us. So you can just test it and let us know if you can hear us. So you can just put in your details if you everything is fine. Next to this chat bar, you also have a small hand where you can just choose your status. You can, if you have questions, you can just raise your hand. You can agree with us. If we need to speak louder or softer, you can do that too. The idea of these webinars is to bring experts like Romain to help you guys develop your tech business. So we have not only on how to expand to different markets, we are focusing also on finance, employer branding, marketing, sales, all the aspects, leadership, all the aspects that can help you grow the software house or your tech business. So that's are some things. I just want to understand a few things before we start this webinar. So in a few moments you will have a small survey just to tell us a bit where are you from, if you work with France or not. Just let me start this survey and try to just vote. Are you from a software house? You're not. What's the status on that? I see some people voting. Majority of people are from software houses. I can see that more than 53%. Like, no, there are a lot of people from software houses. From which cities will be nice to know. If you are in sales or in marketing, so we understand we are people who are CEOs who are in sales. Great. Who wants to expand to France? Obviously, if you're here, most probably you want to do that. Or if you're already working there. Okay, so we understand a bit where we are standing. Great, cool. So, guys, let's get rolling because we have around 45 minutes for this webinar, and then you will have questions. For the questions, please use the chat again. Raise your hands. Put the questions in, and at the end of the webinar, we will get started. So here are the results just for you to see how you guys voted at this point. Cool. So guys, we can just introduce you to Romain. Romain, the floor is yours. Tell us a bit about you, and you can share later the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Romeo. Hello everybody. I'm Roman Rebour. I'm based in Krakow. I'm in Central Europe since, let's say, 5 years now. Previously, I was 3 years in Prague in Czech Republic, and now I'm in Krakow since 1 year and a half. I'm a French guy. I'm from Lyon. If you don't know this city, it's the second biggest city in France. 1 million of people, and I'm a sales guy. From I started my career maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, as a sales guy. So I will present you my career, what I was doing before, what I'm doing now. But concretely today, I'm helping companies to penetrate the French market. Usually there are companies from Poland, from Central Europe, and I'm giving them the hints to don't have too much risk when they come to France, how they can start, how they can be well established, how they can have clients, they can organize themselves. So we can start, I guess. I will
Tell
share
us
a
a bit about
presentation.
tell us a bit, Romain, about the French Tech Cracovie, what's its role, and about the NGO, so people understand maybe more.
Okay, so I have three positions, but one of them is I am the president of the French Tech Cracovie, which is an NGO supported by the French government. So the French Tech is a global brand of the Ministry of Economy and Finance. It promotes French technologies, but also it helps to build bridges between your countries and France. It's free of charge. We are volunteer for that, and we focus on the startups. We do several things. We do events. We co-organize also events, and we connect people. The main strength of this French Tech is the network. There are 2,500 French CEOs all over the world in 99 locations. We have different communities. So I'm in charge of the community of Krakow, but there is also community in New York, in Hong Kong, and 30 communities in France. Some
So the one
communities.
in Krakow, the
Yes.
one in Krakow is leading the whole Poland. Like even if there are software houses not in Krakow, they can still join the NGO and benefit from this network, right?
Yes, yes, yes. The thing is, there is no other French tech community in all Central Europe. There is not in Prague, not in Budapest, not in Bucharest, not all in Central Europe. We are the only one. So we are helping to all these companies. We are for sure based in Krakow. Our main knowledge is around the Krakow ecosystem, but we are trying to help as much as we can. If there is a request, we help.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
the goal is to connect people, to increase their business, and to tell them what are the traditional way to do business, what are the opportunities, all that. Is it okay? The
I
explanation
think
is
people
clear.
understand and they can reach out to you if they need help.
Awesome, cool. So we can start to discuss about how to enter the French business for Central Europe tech, right?
Yeah. You can share
Cool.
the screen. I think that's the best idea.
Okay. Open browser. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good, so I will share. Perfect. So, how to enter the tech business in France tailored for Central Europe businesses. Like this. So just I gave you a little bunch of information what I did before, but I started my career in Siemens as business developer. Then I went to IT engineering consulting as business engineer, still in France. And I moved to Prague after in Natech. It's IT consulting company based in Prague, and I was after responsible for the sales in Poland. And then I founded my own company, French for Them, which is a software house for French business. So I know what is a software house, I know what is a French business. And now I sold partially this company, and I'm starting another one, which is local. It's more focused on helping companies to penetrate the French business. I'm also helping companies from France to come to Poland or other territories in Central Europe. So, it's from one side and another side. And I told about the French tech. So, you know already what it is. As you can see, my background is clearly focused on business and IT. Then, what we'll talk about. So, first of all, is how to prepare for the launch. What are the steps for starting your business? Like seeing the perspective you can do in France. Then we speak about how to choose the right ecosystem for your vertical. You will see that there is many different locations you can come or you can be focused on for your business. Choose your business partner in France, because if you want to penetrate French business, you need to speak French and you need to have French partners. You will see who they are. Then how to fill in the cultural gap, because France is viewed as a complicated country to penetrate. I know why, and I will explain you what are the differences with Central Europe mindsets, business mindset mainly, and how you can fill in the cultural gap. How to find clients in France fast. There is methodology, there is some steps. It can come on to different countries, but I try to adapt as much as I can for French penetration. Then case study. We'll talk about a very famous Polish company within France. I don't say more, you will see later. And then we'll answer your question in live. So let's go. How to prepare for the launch. First of all, you need to do a market study. I think it's not rocket science that you need to be aware about where you go, about the different particularities of the business. So you will seek for information. Many information are in French. So you need, from this first step, the French language. It's kind of mandatory. We publish many things in French. We have many reports. Some things are in English, but you will have maybe 70% of all the business information in French and 30% in English on internet. So first of all, you start by seeking information about the market definition, where you want to go, about the perspective, what is mainly your goal, which product do you have, and what products are already on the market. So what is the environment and who are the actors. Then you seek information about the demand. The demand is which services are needed on the market. What are the behaviors of the users? The users are the client of your solution, or they are not. You need to do B2B or B2C. So it's mainly targeting the demand, the segmentation. What is the segmentation is who are your customer. In this kind of case, we talk about the CSP. It's a category socio-professional. I will talk more about that, but we can find many information about the behaviors of your customers regarding their social and professional situations. Then you look about the offer analysis. What is the evolution of your offer? If you are a software house, which software house are in France? What are the main one? What are the smaller one? So you do the benchmarking, and also you need to see which software houses are working with France already from your own territory. Being a software house means you can offer many type of services. It's up to the customer, actually. It's up to the project. But you need to know which technologies are offered on the market. For example, in France, people love PHP, the language development PHP, but in Central Europe, it's barely used. We don't develop a lot in that technology. But in France, it's very important. We use also the framework of Symfony. Symfony was created in France, so it's very popular. So I saw that in Central Europe, it's not the main framework for Java. So you see, you need to be aware about the technology which is offered already on the territory. And then, of course, the environment analysis, the politics, economy, social situation, what are the technology, I was talking about that, but what are the main perspective of the technology, of the environment. About sustainability, you know that in France we are more and more focused on the sustainable development, about ecology. We are aware about the global warming. We are trying to fight against that. So people are sensitive about that, and you need to keep it in mind. And what about also the legal regulation? So when you seek all this information, you need to classify them in this kind of reports and synthesis all this information to have it well done and know where you go. With that, you will be able to do a kind of turnover forecast. What is your target about turnover increase? How much it can cost you to come, but also how much you want to earn. And from the time you have that, you don't need to go directly to France. You can test from your Central Europe location. You can start to call some potential customers to see, would you be interested in this kind of solution? Would you be up to work with us as a partner? Not talking about project, but just to see what can be the perspective, if you are afraid, if you are not, all that. It's just a test. You can find more information about these two organisms. The CCE France International is a chamber of commerce, which is present all over the world since, I think, 60 years. It's very important. You have one in Poland, you have one in each European countries, so you can talk with them for your market identification, to fulfill your market study. They will help you. Business France also, they are linked with the Chamber of Commerce, and the French Tech Krakow, for example, or any kind of French tech which are all over the world. They will be glad to help you also in this first step.
So this organization will make some kind of networking events where any person can participate for free, so they can just connect with potential buyers or to understand better the market, right?
Right. Not all of them are for free. For example, the Chamber of Commerce, you need to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Is kind of, I think it's 3,000 zloty per year for startups or like small, medium enterprises. You have some events, but I would say it's more oriented for big companies. The French Tech is free of charge. We help you without any problem, and we are focused on startups and software houses. So I would advise to contact the French Tech first, and then if you want like some precise studies, you will need to pay with Business France and Chamber of Commerce membership or special market studies, for example.
Great. Thank you. It would be really great if you can, maybe we can send to the people after the meeting some, I don't know, meetups or conferences that would be interesting to participate in if they want to expand. Because I suppose it's much better to go to some conferences, have some kind of networking there before jumping and opening an office.
Exactly, and I will show you one event which happened in September. Don't worry. So it's in the presentation. So then we can go to how to choose the right ecosystem for your vertical. The French government divided some area of technologies into 56 clusters. We call them pôles de compétitivité. There are some territories which gathers small and medium enterprises, big companies, research centers, universities, and they are classified into several topics like airspace, agriculture, biotechnology, chemistry, cosmetics, IT, mechanic, optic, and transport. There are some others, but that are the main one. on the map, I show you where are the IT centers, where the IT companies are concentrated, with also the research centers, all that. You see that it's in many locations, but of course, Paris is concentrating the main business, definitely, because of the headquarters, because of the schools, the universities there. Maybe you heard about the École 42, which is one of the best coding school in Europe. It's in the Station F. It's the biggest startup campus in Europe. It's also where is based the headquarters of the French tech. So everything is quite concentrated there. Me, I'm from Lyon. I know well this Imaginov cluster here. It depends what you are looking for. You need to study which cluster you would like to penetrate and see who are there. They all have some internet page, so you can find more information about that. And then when you identify some cluster you want to target, it should not be only one, but let's say you are convinced that you would like to come to France and to penetrate this market. You need to focus on one, maybe Paris, maybe Lyon, maybe Marseille, I don't know. And you need to see which are your targets. You want to grow your market size. Usually is that case. If it's B2B, you will look for the turnover of the firms, because in France, it's a public information. It's an obligation for the companies to publish their annual turnover, and even the financial results, all of them is public. So it will be easy for you to find the potential clients if you are looking for big companies. You can type on internet the chiffre d'affaires, called, it's in French, but it's the turnover, and you can see, okay, I want to target one company, like maybe, let's say, 5 companies which are doing more than 100 million euros per year in France. You can find the information easily and see if they are part of your cluster. If it's B2C, I was talking about this CSP, the category socio-professional, so socio-professional categories, which are public also. It can show you all the behaviors, the tendency of consumption of the customers, individual customers. So if you see that, I don't know, where they use mostly e-commerce is in Paris, for example, then you can target Paris as a cluster, and it's easy information to find. Maybe your target will be also to find talents. Talents means universities, mean technical universities, engineering. So you can find this information also in these clusters. The perspective, I can associate also with the partnerships. We call them prospective in France. It's what are the up-to-date situation of one cluster, and what are the perspective, and who are inside this cluster, who can be your partner. So that's how I would advise to choose the right ecosystem vertical, because many information are there, but still they are in French. So still the same language. You can find more information on Cap Digital. Cap Digital is the main cluster in Paris about IT. Also, you can discuss with Invest in Lyon. The main strength of Invest in Lyon is it's all for free. They will help you to recruit talent. They will help you to find the right partner, client. It's a very good team. I'm working with them often, and it's the unique cluster which is completely for free from all the services. You have also the Direction Générale des Entreprises. You will find mostly information in their website about all what I was saying, and the Pôle de Compétitivité website. They have the interactive map to find more information about each clusters.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Guys, give us some feedback. If you like it, just put a thumbs up or give us some feedback if this content is helping you. So we also get to know, and we are not just having a talk alone. So just tell us if it's okay. You can just use the status bar, put a thumbs up or disagree or agree. So just for us to know. And if you have questions, we can have it later. Yeah, you will have the links later on. So let's move on. I see only two thumbs up, which means that or you're not here or you don't want to give us a thumb up, but a silence is also an answer. Thank you.
We'll
Let's go
add the question and answer after time, but
Yeah.
no problem. I wanted to add also, if you are focused, for example, on smart city, you will look mostly about the transport clusters, because inside all the clusters there is IT. As you know, as a software house, you can go to any kind of area of sector of technology because IT is everywhere and is needed everywhere. But if your specialty is airspace, I would advise you to go to Toulouse, where there is Airbus. If you are specialized in the I don't know, automation process of production, you will mostly go to around Lyon because there is a plastic cluster which is in big needs. So it depends also which sector you want to go.
Where do Polish companies mainly go to? Like, where are they focusing on? Paris or something else?
That's a good question. There is three main areas. They mostly go to Paris because it's the capital city and it's 10 million people city. So you have a lot of possibilities, but a lot of competition. And you have Lyon and Lille at the top here because of historical reasons, because of immigration in the 70s. Many Polish people came there to find work. So now there is a huge community and Polish people are very appreciated. So there is huge concentration in these two regions also.
Cool. Thank you.
We can go for choose your business partner in France. As I was saying, the best at the beginning is to test from your location. You don't have to directly come to France, establish your company there, because it can be risky. You need to find out if your product is needed in the territory, and then you can have business partner in France. It's also good if you have a partner in France from the beginning, but it can be costly. I would advise to test from your location and then go to France. So you need a company representative. The main qualities of this guy will be to speak French. This is the main problem in this territory. You need to speak the language. Depends also the target you are trying to reach. If they are like CTOs, head of engineering, they may speak English, but they will appreciate so much that if you speak French. Try to speak French. If you see that it's going to be complicated to go further, start to speak in English. But it's good to show that you are making effort. There is a sentence which we often say is, in France we speak French and nothing else. It's a habit. It's a bad habit. In the world of globalization, it's not the best thing, but That's the thing in the French business. Also, the company representative will need to understand the company spirit, the product and service, which is normal. But from a company which is established in Central Europe to have someone in France to understand this philosophy, it can take time. It's a learning process. And this guy will be alone in the market. He will have the support from Central Europe, headquarters of the company, but he will be alone. So he needs to be entrepreneur in his mindset and have sales record. It's too much risk if you are taking a junior one. But in that case, you have two possibilities. Have an internal employee coming from your location, let's say in Poland, from Krakow. So someone who's speaking French, who have all this quality and wants to start his adventure in France. That's a very good thing. You have also the possibility to hire your own employee in France. So there are advantages and disadvantages. From the first employee, like the internal employee, you have the company spirit because the guy is from internally, but he's Polish, so he may have accent. It can be it's well perceived if you are from abroad, you're coming in France to try to penetrate the market. But if you are French, it's going to be easier. So if it's French citizen living in Poland and you send him to France, that's the best combination. But on the other hand, he will need to be well paid because this guy will be far from his family. He will need to come back sometimes, so you need to give him a little package. He will have to rent his flat in France, so it's not the same salary. So usually you give a package of you half pay the apartment in France, so it's kind of costly. If it's a new employee, means someone who is already in France, he has the local footprint. He speaks the language perfectly. He understands all the area. It's less expensive because you don't have what I was saying for the internal employee. You don't need to pay the rent and the different flight ticket to Central Europe. But the disadvantage is that the learning process is a bit longer. He needs to understand the company spirit, the product, so you need some to teach him a bit. So a company representative is mandatory, but also you need to have in your pocket lawyers, accountants, bank. Why not investors from the beginning? That's always nice. So no, really, the lawyer and accountant, of course, bank account is mandatory. You will see why in the next slides. We have some particularities in France.
May I interrupt you a bit?
Yeah,
Because
please.
we have a question, an interesting one from Dobromir. Once you make a sale, you have a deal, you go on with the project. The communication will be still in English. You have to talk to the developers, to the project managers, designers, and so on. Or must it be in French all the time? Or can you switch to English?
It's what I was saying before. You can try to speak in French, but if you don't speak French at all, from the time it's delivery, it's fine. Just the first contact. I'm speaking mostly about business, about the sales penetration. But if you are in the phase of delivery, it's good to it's fine if you speak English, because in this tech business, it's mandatory to understand English. If you are a developer, if you are a designer, it's part of the culture of the knowledge to speak English. It's fine. I established a software house like French for Dev, and the main difference we have is all our project managers are French and speak French. And it's a huge difference between our competitors. They speak technically French with French customers, and then they ask like the technical requirement from the Polish team. So this is very helping, but it's not mandatory. Is it okay? I answer your question?
Yeah, Dobromir, let us know if it's nice, if it's good, okay for you.
Good.
Cool.
Just to finish about this slide, how to find the external partner for this new employee. You have some platforms which are very popular in France. It's Malte, La Crème de la Crème, and Freelance Yos. You can ask also about the local chamber of commerce how to find a distributor. If, for example, you have a software you want to launch on the market, it's very common to have distributors. We call them multi-card salesman. They can present your software in France without any problem, and sometimes it's less costly. But it's not about pure software house. It's if you have already a solution, ERP, CRM, or I don't know. And then you can hire also some external international experts will have more general view and start sell the solution you have, like my company, or there are plenty others. To have support, you can still rely on the French tech, but from Paris, for example, don't hesitate. If I know well from Lyon, for example, if you are looking for someone who can be freelance, you can contact the French Tech of Lyon or the ADERLI, which is the the development agency of the economic area of Lyon. So you have this French Tech ADERLI for Lyon, especially if you want to have more information about how to find the right resource and how to find the right partner. APEC and Pôle emploi are the main platforms for job offers. APEC is l'agence pour l'emploi des cadres, is like the agency for the superior position employment. I will explain you what is the difference between a regular employment and the higher position employment. But there you will find mostly very qualified profiles. And Pôle emploi is the main platform. Everybody needs to be in Pôle emploi if they're looking for a job. Any question?
Cool. I think it's great.
Good. So then let's speak about not stereotypes. It's real facts, but it's general. So three main pillars: administration, employment regulation, and business behaviors. So let's start by administration. If you decided to start your business in France, you will have different way of legal status for your subsidiary. It's much more complex than in Central Europe. I can speak about Polish since I have two business there. It's very complicated. But you need to be advised by your lawyer in that case. Don't cheat with the social security and income tax. In Poland, it's exactly the same, but in France, it's even then we can make problem with you, and even if you are in your right, if you didn't make any mistake, everything can happen with social security and income tax. So you need to keep an eye always on this. Accountability is unique in France. Yes, it is. There is international way of doing accounting, but in France it's completely unique. It's not easy to manage. That's why you need an accountant. It's the same in Poland, but it's much more complex than in Poland from France.
But do I need to make a company in in France, or if I'm a software house, why should I make a company in France? I can just invoice them and that's it, right?
Yes. If you choose to penetrate the French market and establish your company there, you need to choose a legal statute. But if you want to work directly, it's not a problem. You know, we have European Union, so it's perfect. Also, one of the advantages you can show being only in your territory is about the European VAT, which is 0%. So when you propose a price, there is not the obligation to pay the VAT because it's 0%. So no pre-investment at the beginning. So you don't need to have your subsidiary in France, but if you want to reach investors, if you want to have an employee in France, and at some point, if you are making a certain amount of money, you will need to establish a company there. But in that case, you need to have a subsidiary, yes.
Okay.
To finish about administration is heavy process and big hierarchy. So you need to be prepared. They can lose your file. It's a nightmare. So I was already prepared when I came to Poland for this complexity. So it's quite heavy. Employment regulation. 5 weeks of holidays is mandatory, but there is RTT. RTT is when you work more than what is in your contract, and you can take day off, or you can be paid for it. Some days of RTT are obligated to take as holidays, but others can be paid. So
I'm sorry for interrupting. I just know that we are very short on time. We are 42 minutes already, so we have basically 3 minutes left, and then the Q&A. So if we can just wrap up and try to focus also on the case studies, like what are those companies that went abroad, because that's something interesting for the people here, and we can punctually talk about that maybe.
I didn't see the time passing. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Okay. That's how
I will accelerate.
That's what happens.
No problem. Just to finish, okay. So business behaviors, you have many little tips in this. You can look about it after, but there are some special behaviors to have in France and to show that you are a reliable partner. So I will let you read about it. How to find fast customer in France. You need to have your website in French. You need to have your reputation. You need to be present on the social network and be looking in French. Know your customer. So there is this methodology called SONCAST. Sécurité, orgueil, nouveauté, confort, argent, sympathie. If you want to be well prepared and know your customer, you need to prepare your argumentation of objection according to this SONCAST methodology. Because each of the people you will contact, they will oriented about proudness. I want to be the best in the world. They can be oriented about money. I want to pay less as possible. So you need to be ready to answer the objection from this methodology. Is working very well. I use it all the time. Then when you have all this, you are well prepared, and how you contact the future client, it's cold call if there are small and medium enterprise or prime firms, startups, LinkedIn or Shaper is cool social network. I recommend you to try it. Working also in Central Europe. CEOs mainly by mail, and they are not answering all the time. And engineers, CTOs, LinkedIn or Viadeo. Viadeo is a LinkedIn of France. Get a meeting, key account management, that you know already. So for me, that's the best way to find customer in France. Case study. Do you know Comarch? I guess yes. It's one of the biggest IT company in Poland. And how they all started? They started from Poland, from Krakow actually, and got one client. So they were increasing the business with this client. It was one of the CAC 40, like the 40 main companies in France. And one of the pre-sales manager was working especially for this client. He know them very well. So they decided to establish the company in Grenoble, where the client was established, and to work closely with them. So it was in 2005 in Grenoble. And this guy now is a country manager of France. They have today 80 employees in 2 locations, in Grenoble and Lille. You see the numbers. There is a R&D centers with 27 people in Grenoble, and they have a data center of 1,000 square meters. So today, Comarch is not a company which is only working on telecom market, but they are very good in CRMs, ERPs, business intelligence. They are doing gamification of learning processes. And they are very focused on retails, like marketing automation and sales analysis for e-commerce also. So all their product portfolio, which is in Poland, in their traditional market, are today in France. And I have to say that it's working very well. They are doing 10 million euro turnover in France. That was the number of 2018, and they're increasing by 30% every year. They invest in the last year's 8 million euros in France, mainly for this data center in Lille, and that makes them the first Polish investor in France. It's not a small thing. So 80 employees in France and 50 clients in France, mainly part of this CAC 40, this CAC 40, the 40 main biggest company in France. So very successful story. We can talk also about smaller companies like Stepwise or Project People or NetGuru. Stepwise and NetGuru, they are software houses. I guess you know them if you are from Poland, mainly NetGuru. They are French clients, and Stepwise and NetGuru are in the same situation. They are French clients, they are working with them, but they feel that it's time to go to France and to have people dedicated, speaking French, and increasing the relationship with their clients, increasing the number of clients. So that is the case.
They have a website also in French, like they translated, everything is happening in French, the project managers. I'm just curious how they manage this whole customer acquisition and then project management with French customers. I don't know if you know, I'm just asking.
Yes, I know. I know partially. For example, NetGuru is quite focused on events. So to build now the community, as I was saying, know your network, build your reputation. So they are in this step. They are doing, for example, one event in Paris in the Station F, so in this big startup campus in Paris about legal and finance tech, with very nice speakers. So they are building the community, their brand, and they translated all their communication in French. They have support from investors already there. So yes, that's all they do. And
Okay, so building events.
yes,
Okay.
they are building reputation by many events. Yes, and communication.
Okay, cool.
Yes, yes. Any question about this? I think we are finished now.
Yeah, I know that also, like Beata from Project People was mentioning, that it's really important to have a presence there. So
Yes.
definitely, I believe that if if we want to enter the French market, we need to be there. We need to have more like human to human connection. It's not working like everything digitally as maybe works here in Central Eastern Europe, where we are much more open to go into calls, into business calls over the email, rather than in France. It's very, very important to have this human connection. So that's why they were present there in meetups, not only as organizers but also participants in those meetups with French partners, as far as I understood.
Exactly. You have to keep in mind that France is a Latin culture. So we very like to show our feelings, to speak with our hands, to have direct contact. Is very important. That's why if you have the opportunity to meet your client, go directly. You need to take your flight ticket and meet them. It's super important. After, French in the business, they are very focused in details and sometimes useless details. You can negotiate contracts for ages with French people. But more you can do the meetings, more the confidence will be there. So it can take time, but have some calls. But if you have the opportunity to meet, yes, definitely. And
So something very interesting that I was researching this morning. I found a report by Ernst and Young, done now in June 2019. I will send you also the PDF in the chat for the guys who are online. And they were talking about the investments in Europe, like what are the countries and cities that are most attractive, especially after Brexit.
Yes.
And I was, to be honest, I was expecting to see Berlin as one of the cities that is the biggest interest, but actually is not. Is more and more in France. So I just dropped this PDF file from Ernst and Young just to understand how much growth is happening in terms of IT and IT services and technology in France. So it's not just us talking. Also, the huge experts from Ernst and Young are doing such surveys and are proving that Paris, it's way ahead in terms of projections when it's coming to investments in European cities. It's much more than Berlin, especially after Brexit, after London will be out of the game.
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes, it's very good information, and I will read this report. There is also very good political situation in France today. The government is making many things to help small businesses, to have less heavy administration, and also help international companies to come in France. This is, for example, they invest in this French tech, and I'm here also to help. So the political situation is quite good. I don't know compared to Germany, but there is kind of wave right now.
Are there any fiscal opportunities, incentives that they give to companies for investment?
Incentive? What do you mean?
Fiscal, in terms of taxes and so on,
okay,
for startups or.
If you are, if you start to have a legal identity in France, yes, you can have many helps. That's why it's very important to have local presence. From the time you have fiscal registration, so it means you will pay taxes in France, it means that you can also receive some state help. There is no, let's say, special tax area where there is less tax to pay because we are not a fiscal paradise, as we say. But there are many grants, it's incredible. Really, I do business in Poland, and I see very much the difference. I have friends who started their companies in IT, and it's incredible how many different grants they got just by participating, showing some like
So
people. And
Mark here is saying that he thinks that the it's slow in terms of like the tech market. This is what I understood. Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. It's slow because they are into the fifth month waiting. Yeah. The French tech visa. Okay, got it. Okay.
yes, the
Okay. Okay.
yes, French Tech Visa. If I can add a word about this, before we had a French Tech ticket, it was helping the companies to come in France. But now it's French. It was replaced by a French Tech Visa. So if you are a company outside Europe, of or if you are not European but working in Europe, you can apply for a French Tech Visa. If you are investor, if you are a startup, if you are an engineer, you can be helped. But before it was better. Now this program is not focused on Europe.
Then.
If I
Okay,
can
guys,
just
if you have some more questions, please drop them in the message. And I suppose this is where people can find you, Romain. If you want to say a few words about this slide.
yes, yes. So thank you very much about your attention. I hope you liked the presentation. If you have more questions, you have my contact details. Don't hesitate. I will be very happy to help you. And if you want to know more, also you are all welcome to our events in French Tech. It's in Krakow, the 18th of September in Havre at 6:30. We have very nice guests like BlaBlaCar, and we have the Consul of France. We have like all the French touch of the Krakow startup ecosystem, and you are very welcome to come. So there is the Facebook event. You can find it.
So I will share with you guys later on this presentation. If you have more questions, you can drop these questions, and we will be able to answer it with Romain. Also, the links from the Chamber of Commerce and all the other resources. We will have another webinar in 2 weeks. We will have the guys from Drift from Boston, and we will talk about how to um, what was the it was about the friction in the buying process. So how to make sure we are shortening the friction in the b2b buying process. So that's our next webinar in mid September. So around 3 weeks 2 weeks from now, we will send you an email so you can join. And hope you liked it. We will put this also on our social media, so on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook. You will also get an email with the recording, also for the people who didn't participate. And keep in touch. See you at the event next with French Tech launch here in Krakow. And all the best. Thanks a lot, Romain. Thanks a lot, Alina. And take care, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.